The Behind the Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Do you have a little one and need a stroller for your next Disney vacation? Then Kingdom Strollers has the stroller for you. They've got a great variety of well-maintained strollers that fit any need. Go to their website and check out the City Mini Double, the City Mini Single, or any one of their wide selection of great strollers. They also have crib and bedding rental as well. During every one of my Disney vacations, I can't go a couple of minutes without seeing a happy young guest in a Kingdom stroller that is followed by a parent that knows they made a great stroller rental decision. Want to see how Kingdom Strollers can help you? Go to their website at kingdomstrollers.com. That's kingdomstrollers.com. This is Mr. Chris, and I love a good cup of coffee anytime throughout the day. In fact, I like my coffee hot or cold, brewed in my single-serve pod coffee maker or at a French press. I even like my coffee both iced and even cold brewed. Regardless of how I decide to enjoy my Java, there is only one Java that I truly enjoy, and that is Expedition Roasters. Not only do I love their traditional brews such as Route 66 Tire Fix and Dark Side Roast, I love their flavors such as Bob Slitter's Brew, Charming Chocolate Cherry, and Happily Never After. To me, their coffees are never bitter, and I enjoyed every flavor I've ever tried. And did you know that Expedition Roasters also carries some of their flavors in decaf? They're perfect for that afternoon cup. You also have to check out their different teas as well, which are great hot or iced. Behind Ears podcast listeners have 2 different coupon codes that you can use as well for when you stock up. Use EARS20 for 20% off that first order. Returning customers can use EARS10 for 10% off subsequent orders as well. When you're ready to enjoy the best in pop culture-inspired coffee and teas, check out expeditionroasters.com. Are you looking for a travel agent who has over 20 years of experience to take care of your Walt Disney World vacation, or your Disneyland vacation, or your Disney Cruise Line vacation, or even those non-Disney vacations? Contact Mickey Adventures by Brandy. Her services are fee-free, and she can take care of all the details for you. You know, things like ADRs and fast passes for you as well. Mention the show and get a Disney gift card if you book a 3-night or longer Disney vacation with park tickets with her. Contact Brandy at mickeyadventures.com. That's Brandi at mickeyadventures.com, or give her a call at 774-400-3541. To you live from our studios on the East Coast and in the Midwest. It's the Behind the Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently.
Welcome back, everybody. Or I should say, welcome to me back. Well, welcome me back. Yeah, something along the lines of that. It has been. You're muted.
There you go.
It has been some time. Been a few weeks since I've been able to partake, so it's I'm glad to be back in the studio here with Mr. Chris, talking to you guys all Disney. Once again, we are Behind the Ears podcast. Let's see if I can get this right. We go live every Monday and Wednesday, right here on Facebook and or YouTube at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. That one's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough saying that. I mean, we've been Tuesday and Thursday at 9:45 Eastern Standard Time for 3 years, and I just started falling asleep way too early. Work was killing me, so me and Chris put some long hours in chatting back and forth about possibilities on how to improve the show and where to move it. So that's why we are the same show, the same content, just a new day and a new time. So once again, thank you all for joining us. You can follow us on all our social media platforms. With that being said, Mr. Chris, how are you?
I wish you a very happy welcome back. It has been such a long time. I have missed you sincerely. Everybody else has missed you sincerely. And, you know, I know that the past few weeks have been kind of tough on you, and I can only wait to hear the stories of how rough it's going to be when the holidays really start for you.
We're a couple weeks away, but it's coming.
It's granted, it could be about as bad as taking a certain airline with yellow airplanes, but we won't go into that right now. I mean, gee, just because Jen said this, I won't even say it out loud. Certain airline yesterday experience. Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about that though. Quite honestly, oops, sorry about that, everybody. So you've been gone. You've missed a lot.
Missed a lot.
And I know that you've missed a lot. And I know because you've been so busy, and especially when you would, tell me the different things that have been going on. And it's not going to get much better, but I think this time slot is going to work well.
Yeah.
For not only us, but also our listening and viewing audiences. Podcasts are still going to be released on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's going to remain the same. In fact, one really cool benefit of this is that since we're recording on Monday night and on Wednesday night, it means that there's a very good chance that if something comes up breaking news wise, we're going to be able to talk about it. We're going to be able to have our usual flair with it. And then the very next day, our podcast listeners are also going to hear exactly what we said. It is going to be nearly on demand. It is just so cool to know that we're changing this, and there's so many positives to this. We know that some people didn't want us to change on Thursday. So here's the thing, everybody. I've said this before. I'll say it again. We reserve the right to do something on Thursdays, even if it's just a solo show or a special guest, because quite honestly, sometimes people can't make it on Wednesdays or Mondays, and they can only record with us on Thursdays. That's okay. Yeah. We're flexible, but hey, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and just start off with a couple small things. Okay. This doesn't seem like a big deal to many people, but the question I have for you as someone who, because you own one of those fuel rods, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I own a lot of different things, but yeah, the fuel rod is one of them.
Yeah, the actual one. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the whole idea of them charging now for swap outs?
It doesn't hold the value for me anymore. That I have to pay for the swap out, because, I mean, you're getting roughly one full charge. I wouldn't say full. You're getting one charge, whether it's 60, 70, 80%, to your phone, which is great. But, you're getting one charge for your phone for X amount. But the nice thing is you were able to drop the rod in, grab a new one, and you could charge multiple devices that day, or charge your phone multiple times if you wanted to stream, or, maybe, got a cranky kid that wants to read a book or play a game for a little bit on it. Or someone like me at night, sometimes I forget to plug my phone in, and, things happen. I think the fact of having to pay for the recharge doesn't make sense anymore. Because what do they go for? Brand to get a new fuel rod, $10?
No. Oh wait, a new one, just like that out of the machine?
Yeah,
I think it's 30.
Really?
It's actually less expensive at an airport, and actually at airports the swap outs could be less. In fact, the swap outs are partially dependent on location. For example, Indianapolis Airport. And when I went there to go out for our food and wine trip, mm-hmm. I saw that they were, they had some fuel rod kiosks there, and I went to see what it would, if they actually were charging for swap outs, and it was actually $1. And so it was one of those cases like, okay, it's $1, which I guess if you're a business traveler and you really needed something, it's probably not a bad deal. But $3, I know it's only $2 difference, but you do that over and over and over again.
Well, it's the thing is, Mary had said, you can get them cheaper at the airport, but they're $30 at the park. So you're paying $30 and then $3 every time you want to use it. Say you're there for 8 days and you want one a day. You could have went out and bought a way better one for, let's call it $50 to $70 up front. So you're looking at a $20 to $30 hit right off the bat. But now you've got that until that thing stops working. Compared to a fuel rod where, I mean, how many times have we gone on the trip where I've been like, oh, got to bring my fuel rod, and I lose it. I forget it. It's the size of like a lipstick, for girls.
And the thing of it is, you can buy very high quality, we call them lipstick chargers, to be honest with you, because they are the size of a lipstick, and you can buy them from different vendors, and they are small. They're literally that big. And and it could probably charge your phone half to a full time, depending on your phone, for about $12 to $15. And a few hours, it takes a few hours to recharge it in your hotel room, and boom, you're done. Or you have a brick like
I have
mine.
a brick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I even have a bigger one than you.
You do. And the thing is, mine
It is
fits.
heavy. I'll give that to them though.
Yeah.
They're bulky.
And I have mine inside my camera bag, which works well. It's a nice size for it. And I carry a couple different cables to go along with it. And I'm able to use mine to charge my phone 3 times easily. And that's actually 3 times from darn near dead. And my biggest thing is that I know a lot of people will say, hey, some people say they buy Anchor. I myself buy Jackery, not a sponsor. But it's at the same time, just buy yourself a good, reliable one. Don't buy something that is really cheap, because the components will be really cheap. I bought a $3 one at a local big box hardware store. And not only did it only charge my phone by 10%, but the battery got so hot, I refused to use it anymore, because I actually was concerned that I was afraid it was going to catch fire. It was that darn hot. So buy something solid, and I think you'll be much more happy. I'll give credit where credit is due. Everybody started, barking at Disney about this, and they're over at the WDW community page. We had a little bit of a conversation about this, and Chad Pettycuff, the host of the My DVC Points podcast, I guess he interviewed the president of Fuel Rod. It was always in their plan, according to him, from that conversation, to charge a swap fee. So this is one of those cases where, if people didn't know about it, I can understand where the upsetness would come into play. Now they are clearly marked on all the kiosks. So before going into it, that it's going to be something that you'll have to consider for on the spot swapping. You can still charge them at home. You can still charge them even in your car, type of thing. But it's still one of those things. It's one of those cases where Disney does have obviously handed it. I mean, they obviously went into this knowing about it, because obviously they didn't just allow people to drop a kiosk off.
Yeah. Like, oh yes, sure.
But is it another nickel and dime? Okay, I'll let the viewing and listening audience decide. If I'm able to do a swap at the Indianapolis airport for $1 and it costs $3 to swap it out at Disney, I will allow people to make their own independent decisions on that.
Yeah, because we can't hit Disney for the fact that Fuel Rod wants to charge for the swap. That's something you get mad at Fuel Rod, not Disney.
Right.
But Disney's putting their tax on it. We'll call it the Disney tax. I don't know.
It's a tough call, because people have used them. They were very, very popular, and also kind of universal.
Yeah.
And because you could find them elsewhere across the country. The only place I found them was airports. That other park in Central Florida also had them, and they're also charging the same amount. So there is some equality among theme parks. So it's one of those cases. So, and the thing of it is that regardless, like Brian is saying, Disney used to subsidize it to be free. It's been $3 swaps at other theme parks for over a year and never free. Well, subsidized or not subsidized, the fact of the matter is it's happening now. Regardless if anybody knew about the subsidy and Disney was doing a service, that's another thing. I'm sure it's all contractual.
Yeah.
It's one of those cases. So, Fuel Rod still has a good product. It's probably very good to be used at a pinch, especially if you're really sunk. But at the same time, you just got to take into consideration what's good for your needs as well. A lot of other people are saying, hey, I bring my own. And it's one of those cases where I think that's what people are going to start doing, even if they just bring their Fuel Rod and they charge it in their hotel room every night.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that. You could easily just if you already own the fuel rod, I mean, just charge it in your house or your hotel room, and and God forbid you need a switch. I think Brian was saying that before. If you want to drop the old one for a new one, it's only $3. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I don't know. It's just one of those things where, and I do agree that there was an unnecessary outrage back to Disney. Like, anytime something changes and price goes up, we can't immediately be like, let's raise the pitchforks and chase down, Bob Iger. I mean, things got to come with it. Like, if you look at it in hindsight, what are you more like? Everybody's upset about something, but what are you more upset about? Are you more upset about that annual passes went up by 25% and you had 2 ticket increases in a year? Or are you upset that now fuel rods are $3 to flip out? See what I'm saying? You got to take things with a grain of salt and understand, like, pick your battles. And I just think people want to be keyboard warriors a little too quickly and jump down Disney's throat about raising prices with certain things. But that's just me.
The thing of it is, though, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The concept of social media playing a very big role in how information is passed along has always played to a certain extent a role in the tone of how information is passed along. The problem of it is that recently, and I mean recently, like the past, give it 2 years, year and a half to 2 years, it's gotten really strong where people's opinions are much more clearly heard. And a lot of them are saying the same thing. And a lot more people are feeling very free about expressing those opinions. I happen to like to watch those kinds of comments scroll by because it just kind of gives me an idea of, what does the public think? A lot of times I agree with them. A lot of times I don't as well. At the same time, you kind of have to pick and choose what's really going to cause you to kind of get infuriated. And granted, I'm not a fuel rod user, so I really don't have a skin in the game, so to speak here. The part to it that gets me is if a $3 swap out is going to cause that kind of outrage, we've got bigger problems coming up in the horizon. I mean, they raise prices on food. $6. It's like, was it nearly $6 for a Mickey Premium ice cream bar now?
It's ridiculous.
I mean, dude, you realize that's one thing that we didn't have while we were there back in September, was a Mickey Premium.
We didn't have any popcorn either.
Oh my gosh. You know what that means? We have to go back.
I can't go back till 2021.
Yeah. You've got something else that you have to worry about in the next 12, 13 months. And I think people have a complete understanding of that. Yeah. By the way, is your left or right kidney up on eBay for sale? Or did you put one on Etsy?
Yeah. I've got them pinned everywhere. Jen makes an interesting point, and so did Chris right after her. Jen says, if fuel rods were more powerful, I don't think I'd be as mad. I respect that. I can respect that. And Chris really says, no, they're terrible.
They don't do it. They're not that strong. But Chris also.
And I'm surprised that Disney didn't start their own power bank business. I will say the only thing with that is the amount of manufacturing and licensing and things you'd have to go to. It's probably so much easier to just have a company like Fuel Rod come in and just collect a paycheck.
Yeah. You're probably right. I mean, it's kind of like, for every rental that people get out of Redbox, that the place where it's sitting at is getting a quarter out of each one.
Yeah.
Something like that. Nancy makes a really good point. She says, I feel it was a move to familiarize folks with the product and get them used to the convenience. Then they implement the charge once people are already in the habit of using them. It's a very good point. And to tell you the truth, it makes sense from a business model perspective in a sense to do it that way, if you can call it a wise business decision. And actually, Christine mentions, I saw a post that someone emailed Fuel Rods and asked why the big jump in price. And they said that it was only $1 for the charge. It was Disney that added $2 to it. That might be the case. But, then again, it's their real estate. And, they can do that as well. Do I consider that a pure money grab? Not necessarily. I mean,
No,
yes and no.
no. What's a money grab is when they charge you $6 for a fountain beverage when they got it for free. That's the scam. You want to scam, you want to be mad at that, be mad at that.
And I guess it's like this. You don't have to swap out a fuel rod. It's now yours to keep forever and ever. Amen. So to call it a money grab, no, it's a choice. Now it's a choice if you want to do that. To me, a money grab is something that you have to do in order to really have a decent vacation. This doesn't qualify as that, in my opinion.
No.
So I mean,
this should be the last thing people are concerned about, honestly.
I have to agree because I mean, let's face it. It's not a requirement. You have other ways to get around it. Now, if it was a proprietary thing where you can only do it at Disney or only do it at airports, fine. You can charge it up. You can get away with it. It's now yours to keep. Use the heck out of it. And then when it finally dies out, feel free to get something else. So I totally get it. Yeah. Kind of flipping through comments just to making sure we didn't miss anything. Lindsay did make that comment, last thing they're concerned about when it comes to charges, changes, everything else. Yeah, I totally get it. So I really like that thought process. The thing is that there are a lot of other things that can ruin a Disney vacation. I know that recently, several people went and it rained a lot. Grab a poncho. Why do people complain about going when it's raining? Grab a poncho.
I honestly think their ponchos might be one of the most reasonably priced things at Disney. It's $10 for a poncho. Now you could say, man, I could pay 50 cents to get a garbage bag and put over my head. To be fair, okay. But if you rip it, burn it, tear it, you bring it back, doesn't even have to be the same trip. If it's one of the Walt Disney World ones and you bring it back, they will give you a brand new poncho.
Yeah. And the thing is that it could be years down the road. And I've done it. I have exchanged ponchos that were 5, 6, 7 years old, and they exchanged them for us. And I was like, great. I never have to worry about it. And we go ahead, we wrap them up, and we make sure they're clean and dry when we put them away and so on. It's kind of funny because I was talking with somebody that was down there within the past month, and he's like, yeah, we're going to be kind of just hanging around the resort because it's raining. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why? I want people to go ahead and comment in the comment section. Tell me it's if you hang out at the resort or if it's, forget the rain, type of thing. What do? Do you forget the rain? You just keep on going, or do you sit back and you wait till you can stay dry? Let me know down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what people have to say about this one because I'm a rain person. I don't care. Just let me go. The only thing I'm really concerned about when it gets rainy is my camera. I've got a waterproof bag for my phone, so I don't worry about that. I just think it's a great time to go to the park. Just like, Mary says, best time to go, go to the park when it rains. Oops, too many comments slipped by really quick. Go to the park when it rains. And even Jen says, hey, I love how empty the parks get when it rains. Lindsay says she keeps on going. So, I totally agree with that. Don't worry about the rain. Only worry about whatever you take in there. And actually, it's a great excuse to just not take anything. Grab your poncho, maybe your water bottle, go on in, have a blast with that. That's the way I see it. I love it from Nancy how she put it. She goes, keep on trucking. Yeah. So, except I won't wear the really funny looking trucker's hat. I won't do that. So it's Joe says rain doesn't stop, especially when it's parade time. The rainy time parade is great. That's what do they call that? That is the rainy day cavalcade. That's the one where they sing, dribble, dribble, splish, splash. How long will this rain last?
All right, I got a question for you.
Ask me a question.
Do you remember Buzzy?
I do remember Buzzy, and he was over Cranium Command.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, say I told you I can get you his bomber jacket, his headphones, and his green hat. What would you pay for that?
Was this before or after our last Disney trip?
As a Disney collector, what is the value you put on something like that? You don't get the animatronic. You're just getting his jacket, his headphones, and his hat.
Okay. I would probably put a maximum bid of something like that, like maybe $500, because it's all I would really be willing to do it. It's probably worth much, much, much more than that. But my 2 cents is I really can't afford to have something that's going to just, sit on a shelf for display purposes like
Okay,
that. But
George,
I'll say 500.
500. George says 2,500. Well, it'll be told that this item was on its way to Anaheim to go into Disney's vault, and somebody stole it.
Yep. I heard about that.
And sold it. And
Yep.
a professional basketball player bought it, not knowing it was stolen. He paid $7,000. Now, to be fair, he's a big name in the NBA. He makes millions of dollars. So $7,000 to him is probably like $300 to us. You could upbid things like that. We're not going to talk about the people involved, the two men involved, because they do have a social media presence and they have pled not guilty. But Lopez is the basketball player who's been a ridiculously big Disney fan. He actually did a really funny photo back in 2017 of they're all in suits standing outside of Universe of Energy for the last day. So I thought that was really cool. And the funny thing is, well, I shouldn't say funny, but Buzzy, the animatronic, was missing for a while.
Yep, I heard about that as well.
Do you know what Disney values that animatronic at?
Wasn't it something like 10 grand or something like that? It was really big.
$400,000.
Oops, I'm not even close to that.
Yes, and then the authorities are currently, looking into investigating a theft of over $500,000 worth of items. I mean, these people supposedly, have more than like $10,000 in nostalgic pieces from rides that were no longer in operation, one of a kind memorabilia. They have a lot of like costumes. So this is my question.
Sure.
Looking into it, everybody always talks about, I would love the hideaway in Disney. And we always say, well, you can't do that. They've got infrareds and they'll know and things like that. How does one, with the amount of cameras and the amount of scrutiny with the Disney security and how tight they are, and I'm sure they're tight with their cast members as well, how does one get away with moving something like that?
One would only get away with something like that if they knew
how to get around the system.
Internal processes, if I was going to say. So a schmuck like myself or yours, if we were going to try to do a Mission Impossible with the theme music,
we'd be in trouble.
No, because first off, let's face it, this does not hide very well.
No.
Unless for some reason I was wearing a white shirt, white shorts, and hiding in a marshmallow patch. But other than that, I mean, let's face it, all those things were done by people who knew something. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to, I don't criticize Disney for what they did and how they did it and so on. But I will definitely say that, to pull something like that off, because Disney obviously has a lot of security, and you and I, neither you nor I, for that matter, know anything really about it. We only hear the same things that everybody else hears about any other piece of corporate security. And what's the number one rule about corporate security? You don't tell everybody everything that's about your corporate security.
Yeah.
So,
so then
what
like the thing is, and that is, I'm going to use the word, because we're not mentioning their names, so I'm going to use the word criminals in this aspect. That's the problem.
Alleged criminals.
That's true. Alleged criminals. All right. So I'm going to reword it this way. This is what the problem is when you have people who are stealing things, whether it's Disney or anywhere else. You know, I'm assuming back in the day it was a little bit easier to get away with, thinking of the fact of outside of security cameras and things like that. But something like that you would basically sell in the quote unquote black market, where nowadays you just post it up on eBay, or Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or whatever. But nowadays it's just like, don't you got to shake your head and be like, even if I could get this item out of there, isn't it going to be kind of hard for me to sell this if they know it's missing?
Thank you. I mean, okay.
There's a paper trail.
for some reason, I've been referring to this movie more and more lately, and I don't know why, but this fits it perfectly. So in the movie Entrapment with, Sean Connery and Catherine Zeta-Jones, they try to steal all these different pieces of art and stuff like that. And they're all these one-of-a-kind, priceless types items for millions and millions of dollars. TV timeout for a second. If you steal something that's a one-of-a-kind worth millions and millions of dollars, how in the world are you going to be able to get something to it? And then if you're a collector, how are you going to enjoy that sort of thing? Because it's hot stuff. You know that it fell off the back of a truck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You just can't. It doesn't work that way, in my opinion. I mean, any piece of collectible I have, I got it from, not wholesalers. What is it? Surplusers that actually got stuff from Disney and they're reselling it. Anything that I got, and it's a lot of really cool stuff. But I don't have a lot of it, but I do have some nice items that are one-offs and so on. I mean, my daughter's furniture for her bedroom came from All Star Music after they did their first refurb. I have a bedspread that came from Animal Kingdom Lodge. I got a lot of other really cool things. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But really trying to steal, Buzzy's as an animatronic.
But here's the thing, Buzzy's still missing. They only recovered the jacket, the headphones, and the glasses. So, but my thing is like, is there like a smooth body underneath? Like, or does he have like a t-shirt on? Like, what does this Buzzy without the jacket look like? Did they put hair under the hat? Like, for God's sake, someone, whoever has it, if you're a Behind the Ears podcast fan, don't tell me your name. Exit. I just need a screenshot. Send it encrypted. I need to know what Buzzy without a hat looks like. These are the things I need.
I don't know what to say because it's like I sit back and I'm thinking, now you got me thinking, what does Buzzy look like naked? I mean, seriously, that's creepy. And now we're going to have our name known as the podcasters that talk about naked animatronics. Like, no, that's not what I'm getting at here.
Show name, the Naked Animatronic Podcast.
That's our spinoff, ladies and gentlemen.
That's when we get sued. That's our new one. Oh, George, I'm glad George had the frothy ramen and he thought it was ridiculously awesome. Don't worry about being off topic. It's about food. We're good.
That was actually one of the most
surprising. It was well worth it. Still think it would have been better hot, but
I don't think it would have the same texture.
No, it wouldn't, but that's the whole point.
Anyway, don't get me talking about food. Although the interesting part is that so I don't know if you heard, I finally tried the two different types of gummy bears between the German Haribo and the Indiana made Albanese gummy bears. I finally did a taste test.
Okay.
So all I can say is this. They're both very, very good. Each one has certain characteristics that makes them better than the other in the same characteristic. However, I can't pick between the two of them. They're both just equally.
Really?
Yeah. Like the Albanese ones are a little bit squishier. The Haribo ones are a little bit firmer. Some flavors tasted better than others, for both sides. Overall, one thing is for sure. I like gummy bears. I know I shouldn't eat gummy bears, but that's just one of those things. So I really appreciated, one of our listeners, giving me a set of that for a taste test. And I actually had my family taste test that with me. I would have actually recorded it. However, it was one of those cases where I was kind of late at night. I said, "Here, try this." And my wife's like, "What is it?"
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just try this.
Just eat this. Man. So,
but so as we go on, with some of the news. And it seems like we're talking about a lot of different pieces of news. It sounds like it could be kind of, I'll say, controversial or hot topics. One of the things that kind of came up the other day was the fact that the Skyliner got emptied. It wasn't an evac or anything like that. It was emptied because of incoming weather. Okay. So basically everybody had to get off at the next stop, so to speak, as they went through the track. Nothing got stopped. No one got stuck on the, anywhere, this, that, and the other. And there were people that were posting pictures all over the Facebook Disney universe about how there were just lines of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that were waiting to try to get a bus to wherever their destination should be. And, here's part of the argument I have. We knew that this was eventually going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. We knew it wasn't necessarily a matter of if, it was a matter of when. And the idea of it is, hey, when weather strikes or is incoming, and Disney's got weather down to a science, no pun intended. They know when bad weather's rolling in, and they know what they have to do. So the problem of it is that you're either going to have people complain that you're stuck in a Skyliner because of weather, or you're going to have people complain because they weren't able to complete their trip all the way. Dude, I don't know about you. Sometimes I think it's a darned if you do and a darned if you don't scenario, considering now that the Skyliner has celebrated moving over 1 million passengers already.
We were one of them.
Yeah, we were one of those 1 million.
We were in the first 1 million.
I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, they've only been mainstream testing for just over a month. Obviously, they've been testing for longer than that.
Yeah.
But to know that particular ride vehicle system has been, toting people around for 1 million people plus.
That's a lot of people already.
That is a lot of people already. And to have just something like this finally come up and to, have that sort of thing go on, I guess it's one of those things where you can't really complain. Nothing bad happened other than now you had to wait in line. It would be the same thing if you were trying to wait for something for the monorail or worse yet, boats. Boats stop during that kind of weather too. I can't tell you how many times that, I was hoping to take a boat back to like Riverside or Old Key West, and I couldn't because there was weather in the area and I had to take a bus.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those cases where it's like, yeah, it's an inconvenience, but boy, it caused people to get a little hostile when that happened. It was
any reason for people to get mad though.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. I wish people would not get mad over the things that, quite honestly, people shouldn't get mad about. Is that too much for me to ask? Am I asking the impossible? Am I just living a dream life type of thing? That's my 2 cents. Oh, I am. Thanks a lot. So, George actually wrote it on Friday. He said it was awesome and smooth. So not just awesome, not just smooth. He said it was awesome
and smooth.
Excellent. So, I mean, I really liked it. You liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Let me ask you this though. Did it make you nervous? Like
only when it got stuck.
I could see that.
And we were only stuck for a good 15 minutes max.
Not even, I don't
Not even. I would have lost my marbles if I was on it the night where people got stuck for a few hours. I don't know what I would have done. I mean, obviously just sit there and deal with it, but it would have sucked. I'm not gonna lie. It'd be very
But here's the thing. Justin mentions they brought in the magic buses to take care of the guests. They have magic buses set aside for this type of occurrence. That may have been the case, but you still have hundreds of people in line and you can only fit so many.
Yeah.
You can only have so many routes.
Would have been a good time for the accordion buses to be broken out since we don't see them often anymore.
Oh, I know. Tell me about it. It would have been fun to see the articulating bus.
Yeah.
And but let me ask you this. This is a controversial one, though.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring it up from Jerry. People will complain about everything or anything now, she says, especially if they think they can get something out of it. Do you think that's
Yeah.
that's the case these days?
But here's my thing. What are they really getting out of that? I mean, at max, the only thing you would really get from that, fast passes.
Maybe fast passes.
Maybe. Listen, I had an extra day ticket because of my flight from Spirit. I talked to several different cast members trying to figure out, and I know they don't refund, but I was trying to see if they'll like extend the day or let me hold it, give me a year freeze on it. You know what I ended up getting? I got me, Chris, and Stephanie. I got us 3 fast passes for Magic Kingdom that night. Was it worth it, the ticket? No, obviously I lost out, but they didn't have to do anything because it clearly says you're responsible for that. It was Spirit's fault, not Disney. So,
but it's kind of like, I'm pretty sure you're the same way when I say this. If something goes wrong, and it really is something that Disney could have controlled, I say something.
yeah.
If service is bad at a meal, I'll say something to a supervisor or a team lead. If our room is not up to a reasonable expectation, I will kindly mention something. Example, when we were my wife and I were at Old Key West in July. The drain did not drain very quickly in the shub, the tower, the tub / shower. And so the next morning I went up to the front desk. I said, "Hey, I'm in room blah, blah, blah. The tub is not draining well." He goes, "No problem. We'll go ahead and get it taken care of." And you know what? It was taken care of. I didn't ask for fast passes. I didn't post on Facebook saying #vacation ruined.
Yeah, fix it, please.
Just fix it.
Or put me in a different room that has a working tub.
Yeah, that's all I wanted. I just wanted it fixed. And you know what? It was fixed. You know what? I was able to have a nice clean shower after that. And I didn't have to pretend like I was in a submarine that's been hit.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You go to any nice hotel. Me and Chris were talking, the wedding venue that we have picked out is literally a 5-star resort. So, talking about, I would expect Chris or whoever is coming to the wedding to be like, if there's something wrong with the room, you go downstairs and you ask them, "Hey, listen, the remote's dead, TV's not working, air conditioning's not on." And the only thing I expect is one of 2 things: fix it or put me in a different room.
Yeah.
But you have people in Disney that would be like, "Well, my tub's not working, so I deserve a free hopper today." It's like, wait, but how did we excel? Like, how did we get there?
That's my point. I mean, it really is kind of my point. I mean, yeah, there are some things that really screw up your trip. There are. And sometimes you just have to roll with it. The funny thing is like someone's like, "Oh, well, I missed my fast pass time." Well, you know what? Go to your place where you had your fast pass, tell them what happened. I bet you any money, 99 times out of 100, they're going to let you in.
As long as you're not 5 hours late. There's a thing about just missing it and just blatantly forgetting about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's one of those, like, example, Mary puts it really well. People need to talk to the people that can fix it and not necessarily post it to Facebook. And I totally agree. Anna basically also said no place is perfect. You're absolutely correct. I mean, Disney does strive for perfection, as do many other entertainment outlets, but it's just one of those cases. And there have been times where, well, what was it one time you and I had fast passes, or so we thought, and it kind of got goofed up. Something got goofed up, and so it didn't have you. And we just explained nicely, "Listen, we did this. It, the app said it did, and now it doesn't." They're like, "Okay, fine," and just let us through. No questions, no evil eye or anything like that. It was just like, we were just truthful about what happened.
You can tell when people are truthful and when people are trying to work the system.
Yeah. So that's all we did. I mean, it was simple. I mean, maybe it's just people need to not worry about it. So it was just one of those things. So I totally agree at the idea that, you know, you just have to, you know, work with the people that are there. Um, I guess one of those things, I guess I'm also really lucky because I don't usually have a lot of issues during my trip.
No, I really don't.
I'm more concerned about the trip down and trip back home type of thing. And I like you getting stuck on that airline, you know, a 8-hour delay or whatever it was. That was ridiculous, and that could ruin a trip. I mean, that's not Disney's fault. That's just it
No,
ruins the trip.
yeah, that's not their fault at all. Why should Disney have to pay for somebody else's issue? You know,
Yeah, Jen, I haven't seen one of these articles in a long time, but she says, "Oh, it's also the articles about online articles about free stuff at Disney don't help either."
no.
Uh, yeah, it is just really kind of, you
People are
know.
always searching.
Now, here's also the funny part. She mentions, you know, people usually lie about birthdays, etc. You know what the funny part is? Everybody's like, "Hey, if it's your birthday, wear that birthday button. You don't know what you're gonna get." You know what I've gotten from my, you know, because I was wearing a birthday button around the time that was my birthday. You know what I've gotten? Happy birthday.
Yeah, I've been to Disney on my birthday. You know what I got? Oh, that's cool. You're celebrating your birthday in Disney. We'll have a magical day. Thank you. You know, I didn't get a tour of Cinderella's castle or a free Mickey bar. I got a okay, have a good one.
I will say this. And for some reason I can tell you exactly. 2008, I was down for Mouse Fest 08, and I was there on my birthday. We were at Animal Kingdom on my birthday. I had my birthday button on, and I ordered a Mickey ice cream bar for my wife and I. And she's like, "I see it's really your birthday today." So yes, it really is actually my birthday today. She goes, "Well, Mickey said happy birthday, and you know, these are on the house." I'm like, "That was really cool. 2 Mickey premium ice cream bars, you know, because it was to celebrate my birthday." I thought that was wonderful.
That was wonderful.
I didn't ask for anything.
Yeah.
Any other. I just magic isn't magic if you have to ask for it. But
Yeah,
then
that's
again,
asking for it.
I'm sorry, what?
Then that's just asking for it.
That's just asking for it. And so the thing is that I just let it. I take the happy birthday from total complete strangers, which is really kind of fun, and just let it be. And at the same time, I wish people a happy birthday. You know, if I see a birthday button, you know, those are kind of cool. And like Stan mentions, for their anniversary, his wife and he got a few cool little things. We actually got a set of bride and groom's ears from one of the stores at Hollywood Studios. They saw our anniversary button. They're like, "We want to do something nice for you guys. How many years?" And it was, we were celebrating our 20th anniversary. They're like, "Here, we're going to do this for you." I'm like, "Cool." So we walked around with, you know, bride and groom's ears, and I still have the groom's ears are actually in the deck lid of my car. So yeah, I have my groom's ears in the back of my car. So yeah, it's just kind of, it's kind of cool. And oh, Nancy even said, "Hey," she goes, "Hey Chris, I got a free Mickey bar at Animal Kingdom for my birthday too. They gave Tate a free Coke, and it wasn't even his birthday." Cool.
That's sweet.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you just have to realize magic isn't magic if you have to ask for it, and don't expect it. Just let it happen. It's fun when it does. That's my 2 cents on that.
I've never gotten anything for free at Disney.
You haven't?
Never. I'm a pretty friendly person.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not mad about it.
No, but I'm thinking to myself, now you need to wear the bride and groom's ears. The first trip that Lindsay and you take.
Well, that'll be our honeymoon in 2021.
Is that what you're thinking about honeymoon wise?
Yeah, we're gonna do a big. It's called a family moon. We're bringing all the families with us too.
Are you sure you want to do that?
That's what my sister said.
I mean, I kind of sit back and chuckle about this, and I think to myself, are you really sure you want? Are you talking about bringing in like your family and the in-laws?
Mm-hmm. Siblings, kids.
Before or after you're married?
After.
How long after?
We're getting married in December of 2020, and we want to do like October, November 2021. So a few months.
Okay, so the marriage is going to be well set in.
Almost a year.
Okay.
Just shy. So you're looking at like 10 months.
I kind of sit back and I think back and I wish I can take my mom on one more trip. I wish I could have.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I also sit back and say to myself, there's very few people whom I really like to go on vacation with.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a challenge. It really is a challenge to do. I hope that works out for you. And I only say it like that because you'll have a lot of logistics. Please, for the love of God, don't allow your in-laws or your parents to fly Spirit.
We would probably all fly Spirit.
Okay,
It's so cheap.
you know what's going to happen? Each one of you ought to fly a different flight on Spirit because you know that eventually you're going to be put on the same plane.
Flight,
and yeah, it is just one of those. It is one of those things. I know that's
funny.
That would be, you got to get like the big gigantic, grand villa or something like that.
We'll either stay off site or me and Lindsay have talked about we would do like club level at Grand Floridian.
Ooh, that's bougie. That would go with the bouginess of the place that you picked up for your wedding.
Yeah, it's not cheap. So
really,
not the same.
I mean, you talk about not cheap. I mean,
and we want to go for like 10 days too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's where the other kidney comes into play.
Yeah, that's my left leg.
That's your left leg. You only need the right one to drive. So
yeah, we're good. The left one, there's no manuals these days anymore, so we're good.
There for the fun of it. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Are you going to do it like, I'll say, without contacting Disney about their big group type thing, the arrangements, or are you going to kind of each person is going to do their own thing?
I'm not. You know what? It's so far away. We haven't even thought that far into it, because we want to see if everybody just wants to stay at one hotel. I mean, I would prefer if everybody stayed at one hotel. It just makes traveling easier. But what my budget is for a honeymoon might not be my parents or her parents' budget, or her sister's budget, or my sister's has 3 kids.
Yeah.
So everybody's budget is different. The one thing we've all both said, our families have said, like, it's a family vacation, but as long as we eat together, my sister will set the itinerary because she's got the kids. But if anybody at any given time wants to walk away, you leave.
That's not a bad idea. I try to have at least one meal a day.
Yeah, and so usually dinner, Yeah. And I even said, I mean, and then like we would spend one day all together if we did like a pool day or whatever. It was hung by the resort. But outside of that, I mean, because there's going to be plenty of things that I don't want to go do with the kids. There's going to be plenty of things I want to do that the kids aren't big enough to do or don't want to do. And me and Lindsay, we'll get away for a couple dates, and you want to go drink here and there and meet up with people. The only concern is it's, I plan on being down there for the 50th, and I know you have talked about it as well because it's a weekend, and we've talked about staying off site and going. My thing is, it's only a couple months after, or a month, or a couple weeks after the 50th. I'm just afraid with a group of 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, me and Lindsay, her parents, her sister, my Kathy, my parents, 10 adults, 3 kids.
Yeah.
Inside of Disney during their 50th anniversary. I think it could be mayhem.
Well, the thing is, there is one thing that you will have to do that you have never done before. And that's actually plan.
I know.
You are seriously going to have to plan this trip in October of next year,
2020. Yeah.
And even
or do we just do a cruise?
You see, I'll be honest with you. I think while that would be obviously a lot more expensive
would it though?
Well, not in general, really, I should say. The fact of the matter is you got your food, you got your stateroom, you've got entertainment galore. You got stuff for the kids. You don't have to worry about a whole bunch of stuff. Personally, I would look into that. I mean, because everybody can get a stateroom that fits their
Yeah, like
budget.
I have to have a balcony. That is a necessity.
Right. And I understand why. After having a porthole room one time and a balcony room one time, I can understand the difference. I felt like I really missed that balcony. For you, I know you feel a little claustrophobic once in a while.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. But dude, I would think that, and here's the funny part, you can actually start looking into that stuff. Like,
We're not, I'm on the website right now, and it goes up to May of 2021, so we're a little short.
Well, one of the things is that you can possibly contact, Brandy over
That's
at
true.
Mickey Adventures, and she can certainly give you an idea of when those itineraries come up.
Where is it better to go out of, Florida or Port Canaveral?
Well, that is Port Canaveral.
I'm sorry, Miami or Port Canaveral?
Port Canaveral.
Is it better?
Yeah, because you're only like an hour away from Orlando's airport, and at the same time, most of those trips also include stopping at Castaway Cay. Quite honestly, I wouldn't do a Disney cruise if I didn't stop at Castaway Cay. That's just my 2 cents.
Really?
Yeah, that's my 2 cents. And
Castaway Cay's that nice, huh?
Oh, dude, it is Shangri-La, man. It is
Really?
Shangri-La. I told everybody else is also saying go to Port Canaveral.
Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I'm looking at one that goes from Port Canaveral. You've got Cozumel, Mexico, Georgetown, Grand Cayman, Jamaica, and Disney Castaway Cay, starting at $3,700 for 7 nights.
For 2 people or 1 person? It doesn't say.
For a veranda is $4,200. They have concierge level. What could you get at concierge level on a cruise? Everything is free.
Let me tell you something about concierge level.
You've done it on a boat?
I have not, but I've seen some of the rooms, and they are just very, very plush and extravagant. The concierge area also has its own private sun deck, so to speak, and it looks gorgeous.
Don't tell me these things.
Okay, I won't tell you anything.
I'm gonna look at the stateroom. Hold on. Man. Yeah, 2 adults.
And here's the thing, and Brunette brings up a really cool idea. He's like, then you could do a few days at the Magic Kingdom, or, in my opinion, is do a day or 2 at the parks by yourself, and then meet the rest of your family at the cruise. And you can do that park trip really cheap compared to the cruise.
Oh wow, the concierge rooms are much bigger.
Yes, they are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Concierge family ocean view stateroom with veranda. Sleeps 5. It's 306 square feet. Starting from 9,200. Ready for the concierge 1 bedroom suite with a veranda. 12 grand. And then, just in case you're feeling bougie, the concierge royal suite with a veranda, sleeps 5, and it's bigger than my house. It's 1,800 square feet, including the veranda.
That's almost as big as my house.
Take a guess what that goes for.
Oh, I'm gonna say it's the price of a small car, like 25 grand.
$27,000. Because there's only 2 of them.
If I was on The Price is Right, I'd actually almost win that showcase.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandy said that she once had clients that stayed in the Walt Disney suite, and it was amazing. But I would say do a park trip, do a couple parks, enjoy it by yourself, meet everybody else at the cruise. It is the ultimate in land and sea. And Mary, by the way, does say that she doesn't think you need a concierge level on a cruise, and I have to agree with her. You don't need it because you really do get pampered.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean I'm looking at the deluxe ocean view compared to the deluxe family ocean view. And I mean, you're talking about, it's a difference of $300 and you're getting 50 square feet more. I'm assuming the veranda is probably bigger.
It might be, depending on where it is on the actual ship itself.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, okay, I had an outside stateroom with a porthole, and we were treated like royalty. I mean, I've said that before. I'll say it again. You know, you walk in with $5 in your pocket, you walk out with $5 in your pocket, and you yet are treated like you are royalty. And I think that's you want the ultimate in the equalizers, go on a cruise, because it doesn't matter where you're sleeping, you're all treated the same. And I personally think excuse me, I personally think that their service, their food, their entertainment, everything about that cruise is fabulous. And dude, turn in your man card and go to the spa, because it is second to none in my opinion.
Yeah, the only problem I have with that, the cruise is, I mean, it is literally double what like Royal Caribbean or NCR is. And yeah, Royal
Yes.
yeah, NCR, yeah. Like to me, that I mean, I know you rant and rave and you say how amazing the Disney cruise is. And I do. I would say it's probably put above what the other cruise lines offer. I get that. But my question is, that is double is a lot of money.
I definitely cannot argue that fact. It is a lot of money. And it is one of those things where I've only done Disney cruises.
Okay.
And yet I believe that given the price, I would actually be nervous now stepping down. And from what I've heard from other people, you really get so much more from a service perspective and a food perspective
Okay.
on a Disney cruise. I mean, and that service makes all the difference. And I'm not just talking about,
Is it a lot of Disney in your face though?
you know what? I don't think so. I personally, yes, they have character meet and greets and things like that. Yes, they play Disney music and they have Disney themed entertainment and movies that are a part of the Disney family of movies, including Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, the whole shot. The most of the rooms have some sort of a Disney Mickey nautical theme to it, but it's not like, picture it as more along the lines of a deluxe resort type of subtleties. And of course, the decor is stunning, but it's more subtle than you would think in your face. I didn't think I was at Pop Century, if that's kind of,
Okay.
I felt like I was at the Grand Floridian more than I was at, say, All Star Movies, if that kind of gives you a little bit of a
Okay.
mental picture. It's just everybody that was there always wanted to make sure that we had the best accommodations possible, that we were taken care of, in that, there were no issues. I did have one issue on a Disney cruise,
Okay.
and it was in dealing with some of the kids areas, and this was back when the Dream first came online. And we brought up, Kathy actually brought something up to the front desk about it. And lo and behold, I actually got a phone call from the director of children's programming. And we actually met to talk about the concerns and so on. And she was, I didn't want anything or anything. I just basically said, hey, this is just some feedback, and this is coming from my son. And if there's anything you can do about it, great. If not, we understand. Let's just talk about it briefly. It was handled in such a professional manner.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to make sure that we all had the most magical trip in the world. It's kind of funny. I would really like to be able to go there one more time before my son graduates high school, and to the point where he can actually enjoy the kids clubs, or I should say the teen clubs, and because my daughter always enjoyed that. But now, the funny part is that I found out I'm not going to be able to go to Disneyland this year.
Oh no.
My Disneyland trip has now been squashed. You know why? $600 flights.
A person?
Yes.
Get out of here.
$600 flights. And so
You're out of your mind, Jack.
we think that we're not going to be able to do it. I still have my hotel reservation. I'm going to hold on to it. That, and my daughter is not sure whether or not she's going to be able to do what she was going to do to come up and see us during that time, because she's going out to San Diego to do a presentation at a seminar as a part of her grad work. And we thought, oh, this would be great. Nope. So that just came to my mind. Maybe I should go on a cruise. Because we were going to go mainly for my daughter's graduation. Okay, that was the thing. We were going to go for my daughter's, like, to celebrate my daughter's graduation. And I went on a cruise to celebrate when I graduated high school or college. Why shouldn't I? I've come up with a great idea.
You could save those pennies and come in 2021 with us.
Oh, dude, one ship, all of us, the Saladas and the Angelos, all at the same time.
Wild,
dude, man. That whole
the minute I said this, Jess and Nick will be saving their pennies and they will try to find a way to be on that ship.
Jess and Nick,
Chris and Stephanie,
Trish will join us too. It'll be
like a Behind the Ears podcast. Danny 31st birthday and a wedding, honeymoon, and 1 year anniversary trip. Wrap it all in one. Daughter graduating college. We got a whole bunch of things we could celebrate on this trip.
Oh, I think so.
I'll treat you to dinner. Don't worry about it. It's on me.
You know what? The thing is, I bet you any money if we talk to Brandy or at Mickey Adventures, I bet you any money she'd help figure it all out. We'll all have a blast. And I wonder if we should even have all of our friends from the show join us.
Oh boy, now we're just gonna rent the whole boat.
That's it. There we go. You know, it's one of those cases where
Albert already said he's gonna sail that shit.
Oh, I think that would be intensity in 10 cities. I mean,
Chris is in behind the. We always said we wanted to do a cruise.
Maybe this is our excuse.
I know
that you didn't want to last time because of cost. It's because of money, but now
I have a reason to spend this money. Just saying.
And I think we ought to rent out the nightclub for all of our friends.
You can rent the nightclub?
Well, I'm just saying, just basically, have it.
Just take it over.
Yeah, basically a Chris and Danny show. And hey, besides, who would love to hear a 30-minute comedy routine by me?
A lot of dad pun jokes.
Oh yeah, you know that it's going to be punny. So
honeymoon of all honeymoons. That's right.
No, punnymoon.
Punnymoon.
Oh gosh, I think with that note, we need to get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
All right. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home.
With that being said, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. We go live every Monday and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Facebook and or YouTube. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. Trisha would kill me if I didn't mention it. Don't forget to join the WDW community Facebook page. With that being said, everybody, this is Behind the Ears Podcast. I am Uncle Danny. That was Mr. Chris. We love the turnout for the new show. We're glad everybody's still sticking around and hanging out with us. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate Chris for changing the show time so I can get to bed at a more reasonable time. Maybe a Behind the Ears Podcast cruise coming up in 2 years. We'll have to see. With that being said, everybody, tuck your kids in tight, wear your seatbelts, and start saving those pennies for the cruise. I am Uncle Danny. Until next time.
And I'm Mr. Chris. And just remember, if you're going to cruise, you might as well do it right. Well, listen, thanks a lot for everybody for joining us. Thank you for joining us on our new day and time. We can't wait to see you guys on Wednesday. And for our podcast listeners, you will also have these shows pushed out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just like they always have been. But listen, we really do appreciate everybody supporting us, especially with this little bit of a change. And by all means, we want to just bring you the absolute best in Disney podcasting. So with that being said, I hope everybody has an absolutely magical day. Take care.